Good morning. This is Holly with Holly's Joys, and I'm here today with a scripture verse that I want to talk about. And I've been doing a study on dominion for some time, but I found this verse, and I don't know, there's just so much goodness in it that I want to share it with you. And it is Luke 22:31 and 32. It says, Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith will not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. This is Jesus speaking, so those are the red words of Jesus. Now, as I was doing a study, I always start at the beginning of the scripture and kind of sort through it word by word. So I want to know, what does sift as wheat really mean? So back in the day, Jesus' day, they would sift wheat by violently shaking it. So they'd cut it off and then they would shake it, just beat it. That would separate the good grain from the chaff. And the chaff was, I guess, like an outery, dried up, crusty part, which is not, it was like a protective coating around this grain. So spiritually, Jesus was warning Peter that he's about to be tested and shaken to see what's really in him. And as I was thinking about that, it doesn't say that Jesus asked for the testing not to happen. I mean, so many people I know have things going on that they'd prefer not to be, right? And me personally as well. And sometimes I'm like, just take it away. Make it go away. Stop. Make it stop. And that, it came to me, maybe that is not how I should approach this from a spiritual standpoint. So Jesus was interceding, not that this shaking not happen, but he says, I've prayed for you that your faith will remain strong, that it won't fail you. And as I was thinking about that, it's like, I really think faith is one of those truths of life that it's eternal. We have faith, but it shifts. What are we putting our faith in? So I think what Jesus is saying is that your faith in God will not shift. It will not be destroyed. It will not be shaken by this violent shaking that you're about to go through. And so Jesus is seeing, he's looking past, because he finishes this little scripture with, once you've returned, then help your brothers. So let's read that little bit of the scripture again so I can remind you. But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith will not fail. And then it says, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. So it's like he can see that Peter's going to have some failings in there, or he's going to be putting his faith in things that are not of God, and like feel like he needs to protect himself. Like when he denies, nope, I don't know Jesus. I don't know who that is. I was never there. So he's scared, and he's putting his faith in fear. And so his faith is still there. It's just kind of morphed into a place that's not helpful. I shouldn't say that it's not helpful. It is helpful. It is showing Peter, see, we have weakness still. We still need to actively take dominion over our thoughts and actively exercise our spiritual warfare to bring forth the faith in God, the patience sometimes that it takes to stand in that faith. Just stand. And think about that. So Jesus sees Peter's failure, where he's denying him 3 times, and he doesn't point at that. He's not, see, hellbound dude, you've fallen. No, he says, we look at that, And once you've turned back, okay, I see that, but let's say you're going to work through it. You're going to figure it out. You're going to see that you have failed and you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's not great. Let's move forward from here. And then you can strengthen your brothers. It's so much easier to talk to somebody who's been around the block a few times about things that you're struggling with than somebody who never really thought they did anything worthy of calling a sin. In my opinion, that's been true for me. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine somebody who grew up in church and they never, said a curse word and they never drank alcohol and they never like did anything sexually that wasn't just pure and perfect. I can't even relate to a person like that. I mean, there are people like that, and good for you. I think it's great, but that's not been my life experience. Like, I've done some very untoward things. And so, to one who's forgiven much, they forgive much. So it's easier for me to understand where somebody's coming from with some of this. Okay. So it's both sobering and comforting, this reality that Peter was going to be shaken, and he was shaken pretty violently. But it also assures us that Jesus is doing the intercessory praying for us and that he's not praying for us not to be tested. So don't think about things that happen in your life. And I'm not even sure they're tests. It's just kind of part of being a human being. These things happen. Things happen that you do not appreciate in the moment. It's like, well, I wish that didn't happen. So, but he covers us in that prayer that you will not only be shaken and maybe even have some things that you would look at and call failures, but you are going to turn back. You're going to turn back and you're going to strengthen your brothers. So, and this is on the heels of the Charlie Kirk assassination. And it's sad because he's only 31 years old. And, I mean, that's about half cooked, really. And it would have been interesting to see how his life would have played out. But that isn't how the shaking went. But as we are shaken, try to remember that this young man, who is a young man, did things out of ignorance and misunderstanding of who he is in God, and to try to find some compassion and love. That's what changes the course. It is not being angry, it is not wanting retribution. I do understand those things. I have people in my life that challenge that deeply, that no, you are all safe in the hand of God and that he loves and protects us all, and to try to see beyond this thing that this young man has done and see who he can become with your love and your compassion. Go to my channel at Holly's Joys and subscribe. And I hope that you go into your laboratory of life and think about some of the things that we just talked about in that scripture with the violent shakings that happen in your life, and know that you can come out the other side. Don't stay stuck on those things you don't do perfectly. None of us do. So, have a great day and we'll see you next time. Bye.